guys? Mr. Dark Light here,
Bash of Bash and Brains.
and we're here to review the Child's Play and Halloween Ends.
It was a getting back to was it with Child's Play, was it honestly more to like I remember more of like just the doll, but like now like seeing it in my later years, was it older, was it instead of a kid, like getting into the story, was what's his name, Charles Lee Ray,
Mm-hmm.
that puts his soul into the doll. And it always it everybody want, and I always wondered, why did he want to kill, what's his name, Andy, right?
Yeah, Andy.
Why did he want to kill Andy? I was like, and the plot, where that plot comes from, is that Andy was the first one to see Charles Lee Ray in his new form in the doll, and therefore he has to sacrifice Andy. And I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, that's where the plot comes from. I was like, that's why he's after the kid. And it comes from, was it, I didn't know, was I forgot that Charles Lee Ray had like was it, he was like what, a witch doctor, right?
Yeah.
He was like a
He was an apprentice for a witch doctor.
He was an apprentice for a witch doctor, and showing him like, he told, and Charles Lee Ray shows up in his new Chucky form. That, what is it? He's like, I got shot and actually hurt. I even bled. He's like, well, the more you stay in the body, the more it's going to become like real. And he's like, you need to take a new form. He's like, how? And he says, he's like, well, you have to use the body of the person that first saw you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I didn't realize, I was like looking back, I was like, it's literally the day after Andy's 6th birthday. He just turned 6. He gets a toy for his birthday. And literally, like, it's the same night of his birthday, and his aunt slash babysitter gets kicked out of the window.
Oh yeah, with the toy hammer.
Yeah. And it's like, I was like, and then not only that, then the date, was it the following day, he ends up skipping school because he listens to Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like a accomplice to murder, because the house fire, because he took Chucky to the house where, was it like, where he let the gas running.
Yeah.
And his
goon.
Yeah, Charles Lee Ray's goon, the one that was working with him, that left him at the scene of the crime, took off in the van. He shoots a gun, he thinking he's gonna shoot Charles Lee Ray, and he does that when he opens the door to the kitchen where the gas is running. Boom. But it's like, basically, that kid Andy was in the car. I was like, holy crap, this kid's having. And then after that, when they find out, like, why did you do this, and why, it's like, and he's like, well, the dog, he told me, Chucky told me. And when the kid Andy starts slapping the dog, come on, Chucky, tell them.
Like they're thinking that he's not all there and everything. The doctor overhears it. He's like, hey, like, we can take him to a place that we can help him with and everything. And the mother believed his son because the way how everything is going and everything, and she wants the answers. Like, to me, it was a really good film. Like, it really takes how it will be if something happens and no one believes you, and get into that voodoo into it. Like, it's rare for that kind of movie to actually explain it and show how to put it into a story.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I just like more, like, it was more the satisfaction at the end of the movie where people start believing.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, it's like, why won't you believe him? You
That's
know,
crazy.
you get into the movie and you're like, was it the damn, was it detective doesn't want to believe the kid?
Yeah, it's sucky because his birthday and everything, bro. Like, it's crazy. It's all happening on his birthday, and then after his birthday,
and then he ends up in the psychiatric ward 2 days after his birthday.
Yeah.
Or it's literally the next day, because that next day, it was that same day that the house exploded, and that same day he ends up in the psych ward. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this kid's having, like, the worst like few days, and I never thought of it like I was like oh crap,
Mm-hmm.
I never thought of it like that. And then on top of that, he's like also he's witnessing these. He witnessed that death.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The what was it? The electrodes.
Oh yeah.
What is it? Gets a Chucky electrocutes the one of the psychiatric doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ! I was like, and he's just there standing. He's like, I was like, holy crap! I was like, then I'm thinking, I'm like, oh shit! I was like, oh shit! This is through the eyes of a 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
This 6-year-old kid is witnessing all this,
Yeah.
and the 6-year-old kid
I just imagine his PSD and everything, bro. That's crazy.
right developing PTSD from all that, and then learning to survive Chucky as a child. I'm like damn. I was like, that's horrible.
It was a really good movie. It was really classic, and getting into stuff like that, and like people never seen that before, like a doll coming to life and just doing sinister things. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, that's what I like about Child's Play. It really gets into how would it be if a like a mass serial killer comes and goes into a doll.
Yeah, and not only that, a master like he's a he becomes a master. I'm guessing he already was one
Yeah.
because like the detective was after him, and not only that, like one that knows like voodoo to put his soul into a doll and survive by going into another, going on, and we it was like Jesus Christ, it's like, and then the finale, the
Oh
ending.
yeah.
I like the idea that they're all like they're staring at each other like, how do we explain this? Who's gonna believe us?
No one's gonna believe us or
No.
anything. Because it comes out of nowhere. Like, this is like unexpected. No one's like gonna believe what happened.
And they're like, how are we gonna like have this finalized by the police that Andy didn't do it, that Andy didn't kill his aunt, and that Andy didn't basically blow up that house,
Mm-hmm.
and Andy, he didn't leave school on his own to the house. He was being told things. I was like, oh, this poor kid. I was like, Andy, everything's towards Andy.
Yeah.
I was like, but they never they just kind of end the movie right after.
Yeah, they ended it, like, you get more into like in Child's Play 2 and 3, how everything went to be and everything, to him going to military school and going through all that stuff that was going on with him. People still not believing it. People are like, oh, they're just making it up. It comes to it. It's like,
this is all BS.
And it's still going on.
And basically trying to, what is it? I need to see the other movies. So I need to read, because I was like, as a teen, watching the movies, I was like just mostly like the gore and guts.
No, yeah.
But now I really get into the story of it.
Child's Play is really a classic. It's really good. You guys check it out. Everyone knows Chucky. Everyone knows it. But seeing the origin of him coming to be what he is today, and now going into developing a series of what he's doing now, it changes a lot, and you see more development later on when you see the films and the series. So yeah, check it out. I've been watching the Child's Play series. It's really good. Go check it out. Like, it really does have hard points and like little Easter eggs of the beginning of Chucky and how he is today. So it's very good. Like, season 2 already came out. They're gonna do a season 3. Like, legit, this is still going. So I like the process of that.
Yeah.
That they still keep on going with the story. So yeah, go check it out, guys. It's very good.
Yeah, it is. You dig deep into the story. Another one that was Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
Mr. Darklight, would
It
you like
was
to take it away, man?
Halloween ends. Everyone was like, "This is a bad movie. Do not watch this." I was like, just watch it. Just see how it goes. And watching it and understanding what they did for the story, really helps with it. It really gives it that love letter to the Halloween franchise, and showing that there's a guy that he's going through that, and everyone's calling him a killer and calling him the next Michael Myers. He wasn't. He literally was like just a guy who was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and a lot of stuff happened. Like he was like babysitting, and the kid was being a jerk. They being like how older kids are, like they just mess around trying to scare you and everything, and then it backfires, like legit it backfires. Open that he locks him in the door and tells them Michael Myers is coming and everything, and he kicks the door. He's all mad and everything. Family comes in, he kicks the door, and the kid's already flying off the stairs, bro.
And the thing is, the babysitter, he didn't know. Like he didn't know that when he kicked the door open, that the kid went flying. Like the doorknob hit him in the face.
Oh yeah.
Flung him over, like hit him so hard that he went over the railing, and his parents are standing right there.
Yeah.
And then as he says that, the worst thing is like you only say it like nobody really thinks of this when you're in that moment. That was it. That you're like when you're upset, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna kill you. He literally says that right there, and the parents hear, the mom hears that. I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, and it's like, dude,
It's really like in the wrong place at the wrong time. And the movie's really good. I love the story, the pacing of the movie, and everything showing now how, um, Jen, what's her name? Lori, how she's living her life now. Everything's fine now. Like she has to cope with it.
um, where so like basically like what I said like, so him saying was that I'm like, everybody gets in that thought. He's like, I'm gonna kill him. He says that. I'm like, oh god. And then he's known as the child murderer.
Yeah.
And he got like, what was it? What did he want to do? He was going like he had a lot.
He was
of
going
things.
for what was it called? It was like working with cars and all that. What was it called?
I think he was going like mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was going for like advanced.
Mhm.
I was like, he was going
He
to
was gonna go to school for it and everything.
Yeah, he was getting ready to go to university and everything. I was like, and then it's all downhill from that because they show him working at a junkyard.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh shit! It's like you, and like they never let him let him live that name down. Like anybody like sees him, they're like, isn't that the child murderer?
Mhm.
Like you can never it never gets wiped off his name.
No.
But I also felt kind of like was it he wasn't interested in any kind like any revenge or anything.
No.
It wasn't up until he was pushed to the limit that when he was thrown over the bridge by the bullies.
Yeah.
And then the part was at the tunnel. If you want to go ahead and take it away,
Oh yeah,
Mr.
the
Darklight.
tunnel, when he goes in there and he sees Michael. Well, he doesn't see Michael Myers at first. Michael Myers drags him in there, and they're just like trying to get him and everything. He doesn't kill him, but he sees everything from his past and he understands it to the point that he lets go of him. He's like, "Go get these people for me," like literally like an errand boy. Like he literally like told him like, "Yo," like didn't tell him, but he's like, "Go ahead, go." Like he inspired himself to be the next Michael Myers. Like he admired him and everything for what he did, and seeing everything that makes him like snap, bro. Legit. Like he was a whole different person. He wasn't that guy anymore. Like he was like a whole different other person.
And I could see why there was so much hate on the movie. It's because it doesn't specifically like it's not mainly on Michael Myers. It's like it's almost like a pass the torch kind of thing, which I kind of felt that was passing the torch to this new kid, and I'm like I could see it, like, okay, but there was Halloween, what, 2 or 3, night of what?
When when they didn't do Michael Myers, I was like Halloween 3.
Yeah, it was Night of the Witch, right?
Yeah, not the witch.
Yeah, and that one didn't have. That one was actually a pretty good movie still.
They give it like a love letter to Halloween 3, like showing that they can do something different with it,
Yeah.
and still have Michael Myers, but like in mostly like in the beginning and the end
Yeah.
of it mostly, but showing people like, hey, there can be other people out there that they have this deep like thoughts of it and everything, and shows that it isn't like there can be other monsters out there.
Oh, that's what that was more. It was like they were kind of introducing a new type of evil person. Yeah, and and that's why I felt like with this character, I was like, that's why everybody didn't really like Halloween Ends. I was like, why? I was like, come on. I was like, you gotta give it. It's like, it felt like the passing of the torch, because then I'm trying to remember. He takes. I'm trying to remember if he takes the blade out of Michael Myers' hand, or like he steals it from him, right?
Yeah.
And then he steals the mask.
Yeah.
But like that's why I feel it's like it was a kind of a pass the torch kind of moment. But it's Halloween Ends. But I was like, is it really? I was like, kind of almost.
They really felt like it. Like it felt like a whole different movie after that.
It felt like.
But then they went back to, oh yeah, forgot this Halloween Ends. We got to like end this story and everything, going back to Laurie and then the granddaughter, how they're going to really change the path for it. And I get why people didn't like it, because it literally was like showing two different stories into one film. And even though it's like Halloween Ends, you want to end the story out like good and settle and give it that nausea to it. And to me, like Halloween Ends was like literally like a love story to like let everyone know that, yeah, this is the end. The characters are grown. They keep moving forward, but they have to face their fear and end it, and that's what they did in the film. Like they ended like Laurie finally kills Michael Myers and finally gets it all done and everything. Like she finally finished that chapter in her life and she could keep moving forward. And I love that they give her that how you said that growth. I'm happy that they did that from the very first Halloween to 2018 kills and now to Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
They give it that close the book. It's time to end it, and to me, it give her that closure to realize that, yeah, this boogeyman is gonna keep coming, but I finally did what I needed to do, is just end it all.
Yeah.
And that's what the film did. That's what I love about it.
And it was like, and it's like, okay, people are upset about, no, it's multiple stories because it's a pass the torch movie, and then it's also talking about the granddaughter, and then it's also talking about Laurie. I'm like, okay, but you're getting the finalize of all 3. I'm like, come on. I'm like, you get this new character with his story, and then you get the other 2 people. I'm like, I enjoyed it.
I loved it. It was a great film. It really was. I was happy that we got to watch it, to see it, because everyone was like talking about it. But seeing it in my own eyes and understanding the story and everything, it had the story, it had what it wanted to do. And like, yeah, like they wanted to tell 2 different stories, and that's fine. As long as you end how you ended it, it's all good. As long as you end that chapter and moving forward, that's all you can do. And like, it's hard to like end a franchise. It's hard to like how you can get the end game of it. But no, Halloween Ends was a great movie. Like I always, like everyone go watch it. Like you really would take a different I'd take a different version for it and understand what they were trying to do. And I loved it. It was great. Like I will rewatch Halloween Ends again. That's how good it was.
And like on top of that, like go look at the video. There's footage of Jamie Lee Curtis, like outside. She's not in the. She's not. It's not a part of the movie or anything, and she's talking about like, she's sad and everything. She's like, we started this, 1978 to 2022. That's
like 40, probably around 40, 50 years, somewhere around there.
It's 40 something. I forgot I'm trying to
Yeah.
figure out the number right there. Was it
I think like around 40 years, somewhere around there. But no, it's a classic.
It was 1982 to
2022.
that's 40.
40 years right there.
And then so we go back 2 years. So 42 years.
42 years now, and ending the chapter, those 42 years, and it was really good. I loved it.
Yeah. The only thing I'm like, things that happen. You know, one of my favorite is like, you know, we got to see was it, if you're cool talking about Dark Light about the we were watching the movies. Was it the movies that made us?
Yeah, we're watching the Halloween one and showed how long they took and how they were just beginning and how they made a cult classic a classic, and the time and effort they made for it. It was really good, and seeing it now and watching how we ends and then see how they first began and the behind the scenes stuff really opens your eyes. It's like, yeah, it makes more sense how they did it, and you really enjoy the classics. You really do.
Not only that, like, was it the fact that like everything was fully, but like I just like the fact that it became that classic because they named it after a holiday.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they did budget was it 300,000.
They made a lot after that.
My phone is in the car. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
To interrupt you again.
Sorry, bro.
No, it was good.
That's why I waited.
No, it's like good. We're almost done. Plus, I can edit this too. It's all good. But no, like, it really shows how much it changed and everything. Legit.
It like they were the comparison like 50, what was it, 55 million for Superman?
Yeah, it was 55 million. Jaws 2 was like, man, it was a lot. It was like 40 something million or something. They only spent $300,000 for Halloween, and they got back $47 billion.
I'm not hating, but like I only remember like the main thing I just remember is the shark in the water.
Yeah.
But
no one even paid attention to Jaws 2 when Jaws 2 came out.
Oh, it was like
that's the thing, though.
And they said, oh, that was the one they showed Jaws 2, and they spent a buttload of money on that.
Money.
I was like, and they had
But yeah.
They had a budget of 300,000. They did the smartest thing was buy good equipment. They bought good equipment, and it was the smartest move ever because they said they were basically chewing gum and duct tape all the way. And but like there was so many things I didn't know. Like when the beginning, the first scene.
Mm-hmm. That's the ending of the film. Like filming, they were ending filming, and that was the end.
Yeah, they had to do that at the end of the movie, but like. So it would be the second scene where it's fast forward. Dr. Loomis is going to the psychiatric ward, and the station wagon with the nurse, and it's raining, and where Michael's on top of the car, and I want to rewatch that. I want to see the part where they showed it where you can see the wrench. He has a wrench right here. And that's how he breaks the window because they want to make him look strong. Like he just broke the window with his bare hand.
They did a pretty good job of hiding that. I didn't even notice that either.
I didn't know. I was like, what the hell? I was like, and like, not only that, it's like, to Dr. Loomis, I was like, he thought it was like, what did they say? They made him over dramatic, but like, it's the role. I know, what's his name? John. Was it Pleasant or?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And, he, just for him, I've seen him in it was the other movie, he played the president in Escape from New York, which is another John Carpenter movie, but like, I always remember him as Dr. Loomis.
He was the villain for 007.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that year.
I didn't know that. I just like was it like when you see his face? It's like, what do you remember him as?
Halloween, like Dr. Loomis.
it's like I
That's
bet
the first thing everyone's gonna say.
if he was still alive, I mean, I'm pretty sure when he was alive, he was probably so proud to be Dr. Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
For all those years, he was probably really proud. And come on, it's like not only that, it's like the way they figured. Like I guess there's one thing like that make a lot of horror movies. There's hardly any blood. Which one person? The one
There was
that,
no blood in that movie. That's what they said, like no blood, and it makes sense to it because you don't need the blood for that.
no.
You're telling a story. That's all you're doing. Just telling a story. And I love that. I was like, that's what I love more about Halloween now than ever. It's like, yeah, there was like no blood in that movie at all.
It's more of like the suspense, and not only that, it's like, excuse me, it lets your mind, like they were talking about, create the, the scenarios that are happening. You're like, oh my god, what's it? Where is he going? And then the music, John Carpenter also creating the music for the movie, and he knew he was like he wanted him. He's like, no, he needs to be slow moving. When you stab him and put him up against the wall, I want you to tilt your head to the left, to the right, admire work, and then there was still no blood in that one.
Yeah, no.
That scene didn't have no blood either, but then he has the music where it's very like and the way they were talking about when he's in dark places like a closet or a hallway that has no lighting, they put the light like a flashlight directly, like a spotlight directly at his mask, and that white mask just glowing. You don't see him, but we see him. We're like, go. They were one of those movies like, get out of there, bitch.
Yeah, you get into it. And
You're
that's
like,
what I
out
love
there.
about the film. John Carpenter did an amazing job in that film and everything for a low budget. Get them a lot, and now it's like a cool casting now, and that's what I love about it. Is like you made a indie type film, and now it's the most biggest thing that everyone talks about it to this day. Everyone always talks about Halloween, Michael Myers, the mask, and everything, and it's still a beloved character to this day.
And they didn't. They were talking about like the one guy was saying like it was never gonna be called the babysitter murders.
No, that was like a rumor.
It was a rumor, but like
they had Halloween in their mind forever.
And and it was the smartest move ever. Was like I know they didn't have a name at first, but to name it after the holiday, so like every year you're like, oh, Halloween, hey, the movie Halloween, was like the smartest thing, and I give it a lot of credit that it's like it's suspenseful, all the killing scenes, there's really not much blood. They figure out all these different camera angles. Like they said, like, was it go to the left, killing, go to the right, outside, let the viewer
see what he sees in his point of view.
And then you're like thinking like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it's actually really
it gives you more suspenseful and everything. But yeah, that's our review on Child's Play and Halloween Ends and making the movies that we know today. Yeah, like I had a great time. Great movies, especially for this spooky season and for the fall season as well. Gives you that vibe.
Yeah.
We want to thank you everyone for watching. But yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.